Also, one last note. I should have said this before I got this far. Put the bike on the center stand. I heard that the oil will come out if you have it on the side kickstand. I didn't have any oil come out. But where was the 2-1 countdown? Yes, Haley's with me. Okay, it's Green Bay Wacky. This is my 1987 Goldwing Aspencade. We're putting a new starter in it. And I figure I'd film it just for people that need help doing it. So, okay, let's get rid of the sunglasses. I'm half asleep. I've taken a bunch of stuff apart so I can save you the time of watching this in real time. So let's just go through the steps real quick. First thing is your side cover. That's going to come off. Now, if you don't know this, they have little plastic tabs. Be careful with those. You don't want those to break. I'm going to set this out of the way. Alright, next thing. Take a look at the tools here. I'll give you a rundown of the tools that we need. I've got a 14mm socket, 8mm socket plus extension. This is, I'm not sure what size this is, 5/16. That's a 5/16. That's for these bolts. We'll get to that in a minute. Got a 14 wrench, a 10 wrench. I've got a 12 socket. I've got a 10mm socket. Got this. Don't really need it though. A couple extensions. Okay, so here we go. First thing real quick, let's make sure that we unhook the battery. It's just a 10mm wrench. Obviously this is pretty much a no-brainer here. You don't want any power when you're doing a starter. Okay, that is out of the way. Put the bolt back in place so you don't lose it. Alright, we'll just leave that there for right now. Okay, now, I've seen all sorts of videos online where you have to take this bar off, and you got to take the fairing off, and you got to take the radiator off, and all that. That's not what I found. Here's the new starter. By the way, these are different than car starters. They have these direct gears that go in. Car starter pops out and the gears spin. So, okay, next thing. Your bike's going to look like this. All right? You're going to have those two items right there. This, two 8mm bolts, long and a short one. So take your plate off. Let's get that out of the way. The foot assembly here, this is just 2 of the hexagon bolts. So that takes care of that. That's out of the way. Again, that would be mounted here, wherever. You'll see it. That's out of the way. Now, you're going to have to take this back exhaust bolt off, which is right here. It's connected to the little frame. Goes right through here. Or actually, it's right here. Back to the foot peg. There's your foot peg right there. Okay. So those are your hex bolts. Out of the way. This is 14mm. So that's why I have the wrench and the socket. Because it's... Oh, right down here. You gotta put the wrench on the backside. Gone. Out of the way. That's gonna allow the exhaust to move. Okay. Now I've already loosened this. Remember, I'm saving you time. There's 4 bolts for the exhaust. You can't do this with the exhaust in the way. There's just not enough room to get that starter out. So what we have here, Haley can kind of show you. There's 3 of the actual studs, and 1 is a bolt. So the back ones I did with the socket, and the front ones I had to use my wrench. Okay, so I had to use my 12mm wrench for the ones in the front. But I think I actually took this right here, and I didn't need to. It's a clip for the heat shield. But anyway, now watch what happens now that we got the exhaust. Now, I'm just going to put this in as a disclaimer. I don't know how rusted your bike is. Whether you have to put a torch on these bolts or not on your bike to get them out without breaking them in there, that's up to you. Mine broke away real easy. So that's up to you. But watch this. See how that comes out of the way? It's just kind of loose right there. Okay, next thing. Shifter is right there. It's on a little gear. It's got a 10 millimeter bolt. Very simple. That goes right through the shaft there. You got to get that out of the way. So there we go. Shifter out of the way. Now we're almost set to pull this off. Let me get my 10 millimeter here. Battery's disconnected, so you don't have to worry about the electricity. Now, more so when you put your new starter in, be careful how tight you tighten these, because the shaft goes up into the starter, and you don't really want that to move a whole lot. So here we go. All right, battery cable's out of the way. We'll just leave that there for now. Oh, we're getting so close. Beautiful new starter. Hold on just a sec here. It's over on my 10. Okay, here we go. There's 2 bolts in the starter. One's in the bottom. Again, it's up to you on the torching. You don't want to break any of these bolts off. I've had this starter in and out 3 times now because I got a defective one originally. But it's so easy to get at this now with the gear shifter out of the way. Okay, there's bolt number 1. The other bolt's right up here. Those would only be like 5 minutes.
You're at 7.
7 minutes? Oh no. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, hold on. We're almost there. Almost there. Okay, there's bolt number 2. They're the same size. Now, what I had to do, remember I showed you this new starter? It's a gear that goes in. But here's what I found. I needed a rubber hammer to tap the starter out, because that gear's on there. Okay, there we go. Almost got this baby ready to install a new one. Almost. Not a lot of room to work with here. Not a lot of room to work with. There we go. And it's important to note that these starters have a rubber seal on them. So make sure that your rubber seal is on there. And now, you can see how easy that was. It was pretty easy. It was going to save a bunch of money. There's a little thing in here that hangs on a chain. Can you get the camera inside that, or not really? You can see, though, there's only one way for the starter to go in.
You can kind of see it, actually.
Yep, you can kind of see it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so just kind of line it up, you know, flat, where your bolts are going to go in. Now we can kind of wiggle it back in. Kind of this goes over the frame. That's why you got to move that exhaust out of the way, and you got to move that gear shift out of the way. There's just no room to work with. There we go. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, now it's on the gear. You can feel it. And there it is. We've got our 2 bolts to put back into place. Just reassemble everything that I just showed you. How many minutes is it, by the way? 10 minutes?
12.
Oh, it's 12 minutes? Mm-hmm. Okay. Hopefully you'll be able to put everything back the way it was. But I hope that helps. We're going to, well, pause it.
It's filming.
Okay, I'm going to have to splice it together. Okay, we need the victory lap. Shine it right here. Just put the 2 bolts on the starter. Put the battery cable back on. Put this on before I hook up the exhaust and everything. We're going to see if it starts. Yes. It's a little loud because obviously I have to hook the exhaust up. So you can see you can save yourself a ton of money doing the starter yourself, and hopefully that helps a little bit. Thanks for watching. Green Bay Wacky and Haley. Over and out. Okay, one more time. Now with the muffler on. Purring like a kitten. Oh my goodness, yes. Purring like a kitten. Let's try one more start. Oh, purring like a kitten. And there you have it.